Welcome students, and today's topic we are going to cover is design of bucket elevators. Bucket elevators are used to convey the material vertically. In last class we have seen design of screw conveyors and belt conveyors, where belt conveyors and screw conveyors are mostly used to convey the material horizontally, but whenever we are providing some elevation in belt conveyors or screw conveyors, in that case the efficiency of belt conveyors and screw conveyors reduce drastically. That's why we have to design another type of conveyors which can convey our material vertically with higher efficiency. For that the solution was given as a bucket elevator or bucket conveyor. So as the name indicates, a bucket elevator is having a bucket which will be shifted upward with the help of a motor, and pulleys it will be shifted upwards and discharged at the desired end. Okay, and mostly we are going to see bucket elevators for vertical transferring of material. The bucket elevator is consist of buckets which used to contain the material. So material we are going to convey will be kept inside the buckets. These are the buckets in which the material will be kept or fed to them, and then with the help of a belt, this is the belt, with the help of a belt these buckets will be moved upwards, and it will be with the help of a belt the buckets are transmitted and pulled in upward motion. Then this belt is driven with the help of pulleys. This is one pulley, this is second pulley. One will be a driver pulley, another will be a driven pulley. So in driver pulley generally we are having a motor. So with the help of the drive or the pulleys we will drive the belt, and which will give motion which will give motion to the buckets, and the material in the bucket will be get discharged at the top end of the conveyor. So the accessories, if we talk about the accessories of this bucket elevator, then this air wash is the accessories, and the storage hopper will be the accessories, floor pit, driving straps, driving reducer. These are the accessories which are attached, which come along with the bucket elevator to increase the efficiency of a bucket elevator. So these are the components we have just talked about. After components we are having different types of bucket elevators. So there are various type of bucket elevators. Most commonly I have listed here. So first one is a centrifugal discharge type bucket elevator. We will see these types of bucket elevators in details in further slides. So first one is the centrifugal discharge, second one will be the positive discharge elevator, marine leg elevators, high speed elevator, and then a part of these four there is another category of bucket elevators which is continuous bucket elevator. So these are not the continuous bucket elevators, means the difference between these four and the continuous elevator will be the spacing between buckets. Okay, in continuous elevator the spacing between the bucket will be minimum like this, whereas the other four type of bucket elevators the spacing will be more. Okay, so spacing will be visible. So this is continuous type, and this is, it can be any one from the four. Okay, so if we talk about centrifugal discharge, so it is based upon the discharge end. Okay, so we can identify centrifugal discharge elevator from the top. Okay, at the time of discharge the discharge will be centrifugal discharge, wherever in positive discharge elevator the discharge is because of gravity itself. Then for marine leg elevators, so here we are not talking about discharge, here we are talking about the legs of elevator, and what is leg of elevator that we will see later. Okay, Then it is high speed elevator, the elevator which moves with very high speed to increase the capacity of elevator, so that is known as high speed elevator. So the continuous elevators, bucket elevators, are the elevators which are in that buckets are placed continuously without proper space. So in that also there are two types of elevators. One is super capacity elevators and another one is internal discharge bucket elevators. So super capacity bucket elevators are the elevators which throw the material out of the bucket elevator, whereas internal discharge bucket elevators will throw the material inside the elevator, and with some means we have to take the discharge material from the top end to outside of the bucket elevator. So this is the different type of bucket elevators. Now next comes the centrifugal discharge elevators. So here we will see what is centrifugal discharge elevators in detail. So this type of bucket elevators are designed so that the buckets are fed from the internal feed and the boot section and discharge material by centrifugal force. So the buckets are fed from inside, like if I draw the bucket elevator here complete. So what will happen here, when buckets are coming down, the feeding will be done from the bottom. Okay, here our material will be there in this section, it will fill our material. When the bucket will come here, it will carry the material and take to the top. Okay, so this is internal feeding bucket type. Okay, internal feeding, because feeding is inside the bucket elevator. Okay, and then the material is discharged with the help of centrifugal force. Okay, this will be the outlet of bucket elevator. So with the help of centrifugal force, the bucket will be discharged. So here we can see with the help of centrifugal force we are discharging the buckets. Okay, so this type of bucket elevator are used at a much higher change speed, okay, when compared to other type of bucket elevators. So what is that speed? That is 220 to 330 fpm, feet per minutes. This was the range. Okay, this was the speed of the belt or the chain at the time of discharge. We saw that we have to provide some centrifugal force. For that we have to give extra force to the belt so that the centrifugal force can be act and the material can be discharged. Next one is continuous bucket elevators. So continuous bucket elevators are those elevators which is having continuous bucket. I have explained it earlier. Okay, and the discharge here is completely gravity discharge. So if I draw here, sorry, so if I draw here, centrifugal discharge, sorry, continuous bucket type elevator. So buckets will be continuously, okay, there will be no spacing between two buckets. So when one bucket ends, other will start. So now the discharge will be with the help of gravity. Okay, so discharge will be like this. So this is continuous bucket discharge elevator, and the gravity discharge is taking place in continuous type of bucket elevator. Okay, so for that, this type of discharge we don't have to give much RPM to the motor or much force to the motor, because the discharge is occurring because not because of the centrifugal force but because of the gravitational force. Okay, so the RPM here we are maintaining R, or FPM here we are maintaining R 100 to 150 FPM. Okay, whereas in previous case it was more than 250 FPM. So coming to next slide, it is about super capacity elevators. So this is another type of continuous type bucket elevator, but here we are using centrifugal force for discharge. Okay, so here a part of gravitational force we are using centrifugal force. This is when the bucket elevator is continuous type and plus centrifugal discharge is there. Then it is known as super capacity elevators. Okay, so these super capacity elevators are having much efficiency or much higher capacity than compared to the previous cases. Okay, compared to the continuous type bucket elevator or centrifugal type bucket elevator, these elevators are having higher capacity. Okay, and these are having extra buckets. That's why these are known as super capacity elevators, because their capacity in same size is increased because of these two phenomena. Okay, because of continuous bucket arrangement and centrifugal discharge. So coming to the next design of bucket elevators, if we talk about design of bucket elevators, then the step one will be the capacity design. We have to design the capacity, for how much capacity we have to design the bucket elevator. Next will be the head section design. So in head section we will see which type of head we are going to choose depending upon requirement. Then boot section design. Boot section design is mostly based upon the feeding mechanism of the bucket elevator. So that will be a boot section design. We have to choose which different type, from various type of boot section design, which type of boot section we are going to choose. Okay, then comes the elevator leg design. Elevator leg design means the elevator leg will be the space in which the belts and buckets are passing. Okay, so these will be the elevator legs. Okay, so which type of elevator legs we have to see? We have to select from the like 2-3 types of belt elevator legs are there. From that we have to consider the optimum one for our design. Then comes the elevator belt design. So elevator belt design is one in which the elevator, like we will design the belt, like thickness of the belt, length of the belt, this we will design. Then bucket design. So bucket design is another important aspect. So depending upon these things we will design the buckets. Okay, and in last we will design HP, how much drive mechanism, what is the drive mechanism, what is the power required for the mechanism for conveying of the material, that we will see in the last. So these are the steps we have to follow while designing the bucket elevator. So first comes the capacity design. So capacity design depends upon bucket size, what is the size of the bucket, what is the speed of conveying. So this is very important, speed of conveying. It is most important among all when designing the capacity of bucket elevator. Then what is the shape, size or specific dimension of the buckets. Then what is the spacing of the buckets between buckets, what is the loading and unloading methods, and then what are the materials and bucket characteristics. We have to assume or mention all those things whenever before identifying the capacity of bucket elevator. Okay, so the belt speed critical factor is considered to 2.5 to 4 meter per second. So belt speed is important. So whenever we are designing a bucket elevator, the belt speed should be 2.5 to 4 meter per second for better efficiency. So we try to maintain the belt speed in between, in that range. So what is the formula for bucket elevator capacity? So bucket elevator capacity in meter cube per hour equals to the bucket capacity, means one bucket capacity, okay, into number of buckets per meter, how much buckets are there per meter, and what is the speed of the belt, into 60. So this 60 is to multiply this RPM into hours, okay. So what is the speed of the belt? That is RPM, or meters per minute. Then how many buckets are there in 1 meter of the length, and then what is the capacity of one bucket? This will give the elevator capacity. So this elevator capacity, if we want in tons per hour, so this will give volume per hour. If we want in tons per hour, then we have to multiply this capacity, okay, multiply by the material density. What is the density of the material? Divided by 1000. So this will give you tons per hour capacity, because now further onwards we will use capacity in tons per hour. So once we will get the capacity, then we will decide which type of section head we are going to use, okay. So which type of boot head we are going to use, so which type of boot we are going to use, which type of head we are going to use. So what are the things we will see before deciding the which type of head section, okay, we will choose. So it should be proper in shape and size and smooth counters, okay. So the mechanism of working of the bucket elevator should be smooth, and the shape and size will be proper depending upon our requirements, and the discharge side of the head should be shaped so that the material thrown from the bucket elevator may not deflect down to the legs, okay. So design of this head should be in such a way that, so here the design of this head should be such a way that the material shouldn't fall back, okay. So here belt is coming, material shouldn't fall back, instead the material should fall in the discharge end, okay. It shouldn't fall back into the belt, okay, onto the belt or back to the elevator. It should fall away, okay. We have to design the bucket elevator head in such a way that, okay, that the material will flow away, okay, from the bucket elevator, not inside the bucket elevator. And when the product is not thrown clearly, okay, in that case the discharge, it fall inside the leg, and which will known as backlogging, okay. What is backlogging? Means when the material will fall back into the leg, into the elevator, okay, instead of going to the discharge end, it will known as the backlogging. So whenever we are seeing the head section, when we are selecting the head of the bucket elevator, okay, we should see there shouldn't be any backlogging. Next comes the boot section. What is boot section? So boot section is the bottom section of the bucket elevator, and it is mostly used to feed the bucket elevator, okay, means feed the buckets. So buckets are coming, this is the boot section. So here the buckets are coming from there, this end, and going to that end. So buckets are coming and then get fed with some means, okay. Here the material is thrown like this on the bucket so that it will get fed. So either buckets can be self-feeding also, they can carry the material from here and will be get self-fed. Otherwise we will provide a hopper here from which the material will be fed to the bucket elevator, okay. So there are some bucket elevators which are both end, okay, from the both end the bucket elevators are fed, okay. This is the front end, this is the backward feeding, this is the front feeding, and there are both feedings. So suppose if we are talking about the bottom of the bucket elevator, suppose these are the bucket elevator, these are the hoppers, inside that buckets are there, okay. So buckets are there. If suppose the motion of the bucket elevator is like this, if the buckets are fed from front, so this is the front end, okay, front feeding. If the bucket is fed from the backward, so this is the backward feeding, okay, and if both from the both ends the buckets are fed, then it is known as both type of feeding, okay. So this bottom will decide which type of feeding we are going to give to the bucket elevator, okay, clear? So that's it in boot section. And then next will be the legs, bucket elevator legs. So legs, the purpose of leg is to move the string of buckets up and down and safely, okay, there, so that the dust can be eliminated from the system, okay, or impurities can be eliminated from the system. So suppose if we are keeping bucket elevator open like this, then what will happen? There are chances of contamination of our food product, correct? For that we have to provide some cover to that buckets, okay. So this is the bucket leg, so inside which the buckets will be flowing, okay. So belt will be there inside which the buckets will be moving. So this is bucket leg. So the purpose of bucket leg is to eliminate the dust particle or foreign material from the system. And these legs are either welded or bolted or riveted, okay. So these legs either can be bolted, welded or riveted, okay. And these legs can be separated, okay. This is one leg, so there can be one bucket elevator with two legs, okay, two separate legs. So this will be belt will be moving like this. These will be pulleys. So what will happen? This is one leg, this is second leg, okay. In between gap will be there, you can pass in from the in between of these legs, okay. So these can be two legs. Depending upon our requirement, we will decide either our bucket conveyor will be of two legs or will be of one leg. So next comes the belt design, which is important because belt is the component which is taking most of the load on it. So load of the bucket, load of the material, load of other like belt itself, pulley load, all those load and even the tensions are acting on the belt, okay. So that loads should be taken by the belt. That's why we have to design the belt of the of the bucket conveyor more efficiently, okay. So loads exerted on the elevator, like loads like elevator height, product weight, weight of the bucket, and the idle tension, and the digging resistance. Digging resistance means when bucket go inside the material and take out the scoop out the material, okay. So that will be a digging resistance. So all these loads will be taken by the belt. And one more thing, belt doesn't have any supports in between. When the bucket, like from top to bottom a bucket elevator will be there, there will be no support in between of the, like here there will be no support to the belt, okay. So they have to take all the load by themselves, okay, and they have to work for that. So most conveyor belt consist of synthetic fibers. That's why we make belt conveyors, belts of the bucket conveyor with the synthetic fibers and polyesters and polyamides and other synthetic rubbers like PVC and all. These are the materials which we use to make belt conveyor. So to increase the tensile stress of the strength of the belt, we use several layers of fiber, okay, which are made up of carcass. So it will increase the ability of the belt to bear the more stresses, okay. And also during the continuous operation, belts are belt are susceptible to the various mechanical stresses which may cause wear. Okay, so inspection of the belt conveyor is important. Okay, even the friction of the belt conveyor we have to consider, because there will be a friction between pulleys and the belt. Okay, which will further cause the breakage of the belt. Okay, and the back falling of the product also sometimes caught into the pulleys and the belt. Okay, so it will again increase the damage to the belt. So we have to provide the extra force to the belt so that the belt can overcome all these miscellaneous forces. So these are the miscellaneous forces which a belt can be facing, okay, other than those forces we have seen, the material load and all those things. These are the some forces which a belt has to overcome. So we have to design a belt in such a way that it should have then extra amount of forces bearing capacity. Next come the bucket design. So now the bucket design is important. How to design a bucket? So these are the buckets which they generally look. So if I design a bucket, so how a bucket will looks like on a belt. So this is a belt on which the bucket will be attached to a belt somewhere here. So generally buckets will be looks like this. Okay, the material will fed to the bucket here. Okay, and this part of the bucket is known as lip. So this lip helps for discharging and emptying the bucket completely. Okay, there is an angle between the horizontal, okay, and the bucket. So this is angle theta. Okay, so this angle will help buckets to get fed into the system. Okay, so for feeding this angle is needed. So this angle is generally 70 to 85 degrees. Okay, so this angle will help to feeding. Because of this angle, feeding will occur. Because of this lip, centrifugal or gravity discharge will occur. If this lip is not provided, then the discharge of bucket will not completely done. Okay, and it will also help to give the direction to the thrown material so that it can be thrown to the particular location only. Okay, otherwise the material will spill. So this is what a bucket looks like. So it is attached to the belt by some means. Okay, so here it is attached to the belt with screws. So this is a screw which we use to attach to the belt. So this is how the bucket looks like. So for that, whenever we are designing a bucket, we have to see the shape of the bucket and the size of the bucket. So we have to design for the volume. So we will consider what is the volume of one bucket. Suppose a bucket is carrying 1 kg of sugar or 1 kg of material, then from that density of material we will find out the volume of that bucket, and that volume of the bucket we will use further in designing of the capacity of bucket elevator. Okay, so then shape of the bucket is important for filling and discharging. So whenever we are designing for a particular shape, it should be good for filling as well as in designing. Okay, filling and discharging, and the digging of the bucket elevator boots and centrifugal discharge at the elevator head influences the shape of the bucket. Like filling, when the bucket passes from the material, then again it will influence from the shape of the bucket, and centrifugal discharge result in the product weight and centrifugal force. A bucket should have wide open mouth for a proper discharge. This is important. And a conveyor capacity of bucket also depends upon the number of buckets and the length of the belt. Now the conveyor capacity formula, we see what we find out, number of bucket in per meter length. Okay, so number of buckets will also influence the capacity of conveyor, and the size of bucket means how much capacity of bucket should be, that will also influence the size of the bucket, size of the capacity of the conveyor. So there are, like, when we are designing a bucket for bucket elevator, so we have to consider some factors. Okay, what are those factors? Design and content of buckets, means what should be the material which we are going to use for the construction of bucket, and what should be a design. What is the shortest distance between consecutive buckets without any mutual influence? Okay, so what will the shortest distance between, like, two buckets are there, so whenever these two buckets are discharging also, these two buckets shouldn't disturb themselves. Okay, so we have to find out the shortest distance possible, so that these buckets can be fed independently, and these buckets can be means discharged independently. What should be the shortest distance? If the distance is reduced, then the feeding and discharging of the bucket will not be complete. Okay, for centrifugal discharge, what is the appropriate belt speed and diameter of the driver pulleys? So whenever we are designing a buckets, we have to see what is the maximum speed we are going to operate, or what should be the optimum speed of the what should be RPM of the motor or belt speed. For that we are going to design. Okay, and what should be the diameter of the pulley which is going to design. Okay, so the spacing of the bucket should be 2 to 3 times to the width of the bucket. So we have seen the width of the bucket here. If we see, this is the width of the bucket. So what should be a spacing? It should be 2 to 3 times of this width. So coming to the last thing, it is about driving mechanism. So now here we will find the capacity of the motor which we are going to use for designing the bucket elevator. So what is driving mechanism? So the driving mechanism is used for conveying a bucket conveyor to convey the material from one end to another. Okay, it is the force which is used to convey the material, and it is like this is done because of a motor which is placed at the elevator head. So generally the motor of the bucket elevator is placed on the head side, okay, not on the bottom side. It is placed on the top of the bucket elevator. What is the formula for determining the horsepower? The formula for this is QHF divided by 4562, whereas Q is known as the capacity of bucket elevator in kg per minute. What we find out in tons per hour, that we have to convert into kg per minute in this case. Okay, previously we found out capacity in tons per hour, that capacity we have to convert into kg per minute. Again remember. Okay, so Q is the capacity of bucket elevator in kg per minute, then H is the height or the lift we are going to use in meters. So this is the meter, how much meter we are going to lift the product. Okay, then F is the factor depending upon the loading of the material. Okay, suppose if the it is upside loading, the material is fed from the front side, from this end. Okay, suppose motion is like this and material is fed like this, so this is upside loading. For that the factor we will consider is 1.5. Whereas if the feeding is done from the bottom side, okay, from opposite end, feeding is done like this, in that case we have to consider the factor as 1.2. Depending upon the feeding from which end it is happening, we will consider the factor. So formula is QHF by 4562. For that, capacity has to be in kg per minute. We have found in tons per hour. We have to convert whenever we are using this formula. So this is the mistake which most of the student will do when finding the capacity. h will be the height we are going to use, and factor is either 1.5 or 1.2 depending upon the feeding, from which end the feeding is occurring. So that's it about bucket elevators. So design of bucket elevator finish here. Hopefully you like the lecture. Shortly we will meet for the next lecture. Thank you.